This review is made possible by Toyota of Naperville. Toyota of Naperville is the largest Toyota dealer in Illinois with hundreds of new and used vehicles in their inventory. Visit www.toyotaofnaperville.com or in person at 1488 West Ogden Avenue in Naperville, Illinois. Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2021 Toyota Venza LE. Up front is a 2.5 liter inline 4 as well as a hybrid drive system, and down below is a CVT. Now, I'm super excited to be driving the new Venza for a couple of different reasons. First of all, this is the first year for the Venza's comeback. If you guys remember, I actually reviewed a 2011 Venza a couple months ago in preparation for this car coming out. The Venza name has been vacant for quite a while, but now it is back. The second reason is because this is a hybrid-only vehicle. This is only for sale in a hybrid, and I'll tell you why that's important a little bit later on, because it's very important. But let's get back to that hybrid drive system. Well, like I said, it has a 2.5 liter inline 4. This engine is essentially a Camry engine. I actually reviewed a Camry with this exact engine, and it's great. But the other thing, the more important part of the drive system, is that hybrid system, which gets you 40 miles to the gallon in the city, 37 miles to the gallon on the highway. And that's the first time I've read a number where the highway miles are actually lower than the city miles. That's because under 20 miles an hour, the Toyota Venza is in full EV mode. For instance, right now I'm doing 15 miles an hour and it's completely quiet. It's in an EV mode. It's an electric vehicle. But I'll exceed 20 miles an hour and you can hear, well, we'll see if we can pick up on the microphone if you can hear when it switches over to the gasoline engine. There. So you might be thinking, oh, it's only an EV under 20 miles an hour. That's kind of stupid. No, it's definitely not, because think of how much time you spend with the car idling, how much time you spend in drive-thrus, in traffic. On the highway, to maintain 65 or 70 miles an hour, yeah, it's going to need that gasoline engine's help. But when you're just going through the neighborhood, going through parking lots, going through drive-thrus, going through traffic, it's all going to be in EV mode, and that has zero emissions, which is absolutely huge. So that is why the highway mileage is actually lower than the city mileage. However, 40 miles to the gallon in the city, 37 on the highway is amazing. Amazing gas mileage for a vehicle this size, this day and age. Really staggering, really awesome. And we'll talk more about the hybrid drive system at the end of the video and why it's just so important socially. All right, 2021 Toyota Venza, which I just now realized is exactly 10 years newer than the old Venza that I drove. Fun fact. All right, in sport mode. I think so. Yeah, sport. All right. Very interesting because it is a CVT. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. There is no shifting, which feels weird. However, it gets up and goes, and it sounds like an electric car, but you get a little bit of a grumble of a four-cylinder. It's a very interesting experience. It's not fast, but it is quick, and quicker than I thought, and definitely adequate with other vehicles in its class. Let's say the CX-5. Let's say the CR-V. Let's say the Passport more so. Vehicles like that, it's very adequate with. But, like I said, paired to it is a CVT. Now, normally I'm not a big fan of CVTs. However, CVTs feel completely natural in electric vehicles. And so driving it right now, this feels like a Tesla. This feels like a Nissan Leaf. This feels like a Chevy Bolt. Every other electric car I've ever driven has felt this way. And so, in that regard, it feels very natural. CVTs are very much at home when it comes to hybrids and electric vehicles. Last but not least, this Venza is all-wheel drive. So let's talk about the interior. We have a bunch to go through in here in the new Venza. So in front of me, I have two main gauges. On the left is what would be a tachometer, but it's actually a charge gauge. So I can see how well I'm doing electronically, and then once it moves over to that power side, that means the gasoline engine is on. So right now I'm just cruising in electric mode, and I'm doing pretty well in terms of my eco score. Then I get on it and the eco score goes way up into the yellow. At the bottom of that gauge, I do have my coolant temperature, In the center, I get a digital screen. I'll kind of scroll through a couple of different options that you can get in the center screen. Bunch of information. It's an okay screen. It's pretty typical of Toyota. It's not super high quality, but it's not low quality either. And it has a couple different colors, which I like. It's not just one or two colors. Then on the right, I have my speedometer with fuel at the bottom. This is very typical of Toyota and nothing new here. On the steering wheel on the left, I have my options for that center screen in the gauges, my phone options, volume up and down, voice commands, and then on the right, I have my cruise control options, as well as skip track and mode. To the left of me, I have my gauge dimmer switches, my auto high beams, traction control off, and my tailgate button. And then on the door, I have my power mirrors, power windows, and power locks, as well as I have auto folding mirrors, which is a very, very nice feature. And I can do that at the touch of the button, and I can do that while moving, which is interesting. Now moving into the center, I do have a very nice touchscreen display, very typical of Toyota. However, what is not typical of Toyota is that I now get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto fully integrated in the Venza. This is absolutely awesome. You guys know I love Apple CarPlay. But backing out of that, looking at my home screen, I actually have a little diagram showing me where my power is coming from. So right now I'm off the gas pedal, and my wheels, the friction created with the wheels, is actually sending power back to the battery. It's recharging it. Now, put my foot on the gas. Now I'm getting my power from the battery back to the wheels. Now, I just kicked on, you just heard that little beep, I just kicked on the engine, and now the engine is putting power to the wheels and the battery. It's really fun to watch this screen. I feel like I actually am changing things just with the foot pedal. Really, really great. I can look at my apps on here too. This is really just pretty much for either Apple CarPlay, or if you use the Toyota Entune system, whatever that garbage is. If you use that, you could run that through here. Use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. And if you don't have an Apple product or an Android product, I can't help you. But it's a really nice display. Below that, I do get my hazard button and then two vents and then my climate controls. I love the tactile climate controls. These scroll wheels, they feel okay. They're not super cheap, but they don't have a lot of feedback. I like the digital display for the actual temperature itself. Very clean, very crisp. And then down below that, I have my power button. This is to turn the car on. This is the on-off button. And I like that because it is a hybrid. It's power and not start-stop, because when you get in the car and hit that button, you're not actually turning on the engine quite yet. It's really not until you start moving. Then the engine will kick on, and even at that, it's only sometimes. Getting down to the center console, I have my power parking brake and my brake hold. I love my brake hold button. When that is toggled on, when you come to a stop, you hit the brake, the vehicle will hold itself and not move forward. I absolutely love this. Again, nice for drive-thrus, traffic, things like that. Give your foot a break. Then we have the drive mode button. So on the left, we have a button for the EV mode, which is very nice. You can kick that in whenever you want, but it still does kick you out of that mode when you exceed 20 miles an hour. As you just heard, that little beep, that means that the car is back to using the gasoline engine. But I have other drive modes. So I have Eco, Normal, and Sport. Then we have the shifter itself, very typical Toyota shifter. I don't mind it, actually. This is their newer design for the shifters. I actually like it. Button on the back, put it, park, reverse, neutral, drive. It's not like a weird button on the dash or a turn dial like Dodge was doing for a while. It's just a traditional shifter, and I like that because it keeps some sort of normality with this car. Now, the seats are decently comfortable. There's really nothing too crazy or interesting about them. They are power, which is nice. But, they're SUV, or this is technically a CUV seats. What do you expect? They're not going to be racing Recaros, ready to get you out there at Blackhawk Farms. They're just regular seats, but they're comfortable, and I'm enjoying them so far. But speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's do a backseat review as well as some cargo space reviews. All right, so we're in the back of the 2021 Toyota Venza, and the space back here is absolutely great. Headroom, I could fit my full fist above my head. I'm 5'11". Legroom is great. My legs are not even touching the front seat. Even if I lean a little bit, it's not going to touch the front seat. Really, really great. I don't get many amenities back here. I have two vents. I do have a center console, two cup holders. That's about it. But the nice thing about the Venza is that it's right at that specific size where it's still only a two-row SUV, but it could maybe squeeze a third row. And I like that because it is just a 2-row, so you get tons of room. You're not trying to squeeze that third row in, but it's still a larger vehicle than, say, the RAV4. So this is larger than the RAV4, but not as big as the Highlander. So in terms of space, it's absolutely great back here. All right, so we're on the back of the Venza. Power operated tailgate. Love that. And look at this space. I mean, just beautiful. It actually like looks nice. Like I'm actually looking at it. I'm like, wow, it looks nice. Do you have a privacy cover? I'm never good at these. Oh, I got a first try this time. Wow, look at me go. Actually learning something in this industry. Can lift this up. I do get a spare tire, which is very, very nice. I don't seem to get, though, however, a 12-volt outlet back here. And that is something I would like to see in a vehicle this size, in a vehicle this class, would be a 12-volt outlet. However, I don't get that in here. I can't seem to find it. So, unfortunately, it doesn't have that. But it's not the end of the world. Up here, now we gotta talk about the looks. I like the look of the Venza. I think it looks new. I think it looks fresh. It's definitely a fresh take on CUVs from Toyota. It doesn't look exactly like the rest of their lineup. However, it looks like it's in the same family. And again, I like that a lot. I think that's really important. But now I want to talk about why the Venza is so dang important right now. It is only offered in the hybrid drive system. There is no gasoline option. There's no V6 with no hybrid. It's a 2.5 liter with the hybrid drive system. That's your only option. And the reason that that is so important, and the reason why this car has to succeed, it has to succeed, is that this is going to set a precedent for other auto manufacturers. If this car sells really, really well, and I don't see why it wouldn't, it's going to push other manufacturers to offer hybrid CUVs. For instance, right now, Mazda does not have any hybrid vehicles. They are all gasoline. They have no electric, no hybrid. Well, if this car really succeeds, and actually Mazda's been partnering with Toyota on a couple things, maybe we'll get a hybrid CX-5, maybe a hybrid CX-9. At least get it offered so you have that choice. And then down the road, it'll switch to that fully, like the Venza is now. I hope Honda's looking at this and developing a hybrid-only passport. I hope this technology gets pushed into other vehicles, into other brands. I hope Nissan is trying to develop a hybrid Murano or Rogue Sport or whatever they're doing. I hope Dodge and Ford are looking at this and thinking about pushing a hybrid CUV like this to compete with this car. This is the same philosophy that Apple and Tesla have been taking for the last 10 to 15 years. Let's talk about Apple. Whether you love Apple or hate Apple, they have pushed and forced development on a lot of different things. When they got rid of their aux ports on the phones, it pushed Bluetooth headphone connectivity. So many manufacturers had to come out with Bluetooth earphones, and now you can find so many different options for the Bluetooth headphones. That was pretty much because of Apple. Apple announced the iPhone and released it in 2008 or 2007. It was a fully touchscreen phone. And so I'll show a picture of what phones looked like when the iPhone came out and what other phones look like now. Apple pushed that progress. And so I really, really hope that Toyota pushes that process. That Toyota is at the cusp of that change. I hope other manufacturers start looking at the Venza and saying, hey, let's do something like that. Let's offer a hybrid CX-5. Let's offer a hybrid Passport. Let's offer a hybrid Murano. Let's offer a hybrid Cherokee. Let this be the change. I hope I look back on this review in 5 to 10 years when everything is going to start to become hybrids. And I'm going to say the Venza, that's what changed it. That was the turning point. That was the one that pushed progress. And I absolutely love that. This car has to succeed. Whether you like Toyota or not, it's just good for the automotive world. And honestly, what's not to love in this thing? 40 miles to the gallon in the city. 40. The features are great, good looking, but above all else, this isn't the car we deserve, but it's the car that we need. The car that the auto industry needs. And it's the car that the people need. And honestly, it's the car that our environment needs. If we can cut down on emissions, we can stay on this little space rock for a little bit longer. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Toyota of Naperville for letting me take out their brand spanking new Toyota Venza. They have a couple of them on the lot. They just started hitting dealers not too long ago. About a month ago, they started hitting dealers. And so it's super exciting. So if you guys should definitely go test drive one, you could come out here on the test track. Hit up Toyota of Naperville. Their information is up on the screen as well as linked in the description below. Just one click will take you right to their website. They are absolutely awesome. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.